Hello, Viking Warriors. I'm Johan, the Viking Prepper. And if you're here watching this, that means that you realize that you have to prepare for a rainy day, but are not really sure what you should prepare for. Or maybe you're all over the place looking to figure out what your focus should be on. But either way, it's important to figure out your threats so that you can come to terms with them and then create a plan that will get you to where you want to be with laser precision. Having this focus and plan in place, it's going to save you years of prepping time and money along the way. So in this video, I will talk about what to look for and how to create your own threat analysis. So stay tuned. So back here in Viking headquarters, let's talk about, so what is a threat? So, or better asked, what should we look for when recognizing a large-scale threat that's worthy preparing for? And we have to look at the following things. The first one is, does it affect more than one person? Also, is it man-made or a natural threat? If it's man-made, is it intentional or accidental? And if it's natural, is it here on Earth? Is it Earth controlling the natural event, or is it a celestial influence? Has it happened in the past? Has it happened several times? And how frequently does it happen? I mean, is there a pattern, a predictable frequency that we can go after? And what degree of control do us humans have about this threat? And also, the final thing is it local or global in scope? So think of your environment as an onion, right? So work on the most important issues at hand, which is your home, which is the center of the onion, and then gradually prep your way outwards through each layer. And we can also call these zones. So I've divided my threat analysis into 7 zones, like 7 large zones. I mean, you can also obviously add or delete these zones to your liking. And each zone can also be broken down in subzones. But to keep it simple, for this video, let's just talk about the large 7 zones one should consider. Zone number 1, it's your home, and it's really the only zone you have full power of and control over. All other zones are things you can work on and be involved with, but nevertheless, you do not have full control over it. So as you peel off each layer, you prepare for it to happen. And if it does, you and your family will be fine. So let's look at zone 1 here. We have home preparedness and threats. And they're not just food, water, safety, and security. It can also be a threat, for instance, the loss of income due to job or poor health. It could be your environment if you're living close to waterways that could flood. Let's say you're living in California where there's forest fires. So each individual situation is different for your situation when it comes to zone 1. Zone 2, get to know thy neighbors. I don't mean to have dinners together and be best friends unless you have neighbors that you really connect with. And it's always good to know whom people are and what they do for a living, what views they have, and their basic beliefs. I mean, in a time of crisis, if you've not come as far as having your own prepper community or a group, I would tend to team up with my neighbors that likes fishing, camping, and fixing things. Not the neighbor that spends every weekend playing golf and polishing his sports car. Other benefits and bonuses are if you have neighbors with skills, such doctors, nurses, dentists, engineers, carpenters, mechanics, farmers, etc. Zone number 3 is city and town. Know where all your hotspots for trouble are. I mean, in a time of crisis, those are like highways and roads, flood areas, mobs are looting at malls, grocery stores, gas stations, pharmacies, hardware stores, and warehouses. And also know your factories that are close to you that have toxics or dangerous materials. Zone number 4, I call it just the county because that's most likely, or it could be part of zone 5 as well, but zone 4 is probably most likely. in the county where you have a military or a government facility. And that can be a military strategic targets, which impose an increased threat to you and your family. Then also we have jails and mental institutions, because in a crisis, the inmates can all be let loose or escape when guards and caretakers leave to take care of their families. And you also have hospitals that can be a hotspot for illnesses if there is a pandemic. So number 5, let's say you live in Florida. Your biggest natural threat will be hurricanes. And if you live in Texas, yeah, sure, you can have hurricanes on the coast too, but most likely you're going to be more concerned about tornadoes. And in California, you would have to consider wildfires and earthquakes, but you get my point. Depending on local laws in your state, you're also going to be dealing with more or less armed people. And also consider your distance from nuclear power plants that can be affected by terrorism or long-term grid down scenarios. Zone number 6, follow the news. See what happens in the political and economical scene. You know, you can't do much about it except for voting and getting involved in your community. But you can see when something is coming. So look out for early warning signs in your society. Zone number 7, keep an eye on pandemics, illnesses, and other geopolitical events. Again, it's out of reach and influenced by you, but the warning signs are out there, and if you know what to look for, you'll be prepared and ready before the event reaches you and your family. Now, this is obviously a quick summarized threat analysis, as it requires a more in-depth analysis of your area with distances to things and possible local threats and your situation. But this will get you started figuring out what possible threats you can and will have. If we were to sit down over a coffee to create your own threat analysis, it would be way more in depth. And one part of my in-depth analysis is that once your threats have been determined, is to fill out a threat analysis spreadsheet. And it kind of will help you figure out what your focus should be on in your preps at this time and at this moment. So here, let me show you mine. Okay, so we're here at my computer, and I'm just recording my screen to show my threat analysis spreadsheet that I've created. So basically it's the different concerns and disasters and threats that we talked about earlier in the video. So I focused on the top man-made and also the top natural. So as you can see, I also have a formula. So basically the first initial thing that you have to fill in is how important is it for you to plan for this. 0 being not concerned and worried at all, and also 1 to 10, how prepared are you to survive this, and 1 to 10, how prepared do you feel you need to be to survive to prevail this scenario. Having that said, depending on what you put in here, it will spit out a overall threat analysis percentage for you, where you can then see well, if it's 0 to 25%, it's not much to worry about here. If it's yellow, maybe you shouldn't prepare for it today, but keep this on the radar and start planning for it. And orange, this is where you should put most of your efforts in. And if you get red, you definitely need to start prepping for this right away. So let's see here, for instance, economy. So let's say, yeah, how important is it for me to plan for it? Well, economic collapse, I think it's 10 out of 10. That's very important. And how prepared am I? Okay, well, let's say I'm only somewhat prepared. I have 3. And how prepared do you feel you need to be to survive and prevail this scenario? I think I need to be 8 out of 10 really on that one. So that gives me a result here of 50%. Let's say home invasion. Well, yeah, I think it's about 8 out of 10 importance. How prepared am I? Well, not too prepared, so maybe a 3. And how prepared do I feel I need to be? Well, I should be at 10. So that gives me a 56%. So it's a little bit more urgent to prepare for that. Let's say power outage. Okay, well, I think that's super important, and I am really prepared for it. And the need to survive and prevail for this scenario, and it spits out 20%. So let's say the nuclear power plant. Well, 10. I only have 1, and I think 10. Oh, 90. Okay, I better start get going on this.
yeah, so you get an idea on how to fill this out. And to help you out, I'll post a link in the description below this video to where you can go and download the spreadsheet for free. No, there's no strings attached. I'm not trying to sell you anything. All I ask is that you give this video a like, and if you have time, maybe a quick comment. All right, so let's move on.
Remember that we are all in this together, so let's work together and make sure more and more people see the normality in preparedness. You're in the right place at the right time. I want you to join me and other Viking warriors, and together we will navigate the journey towards living a stress-free and a prepared lifestyle. As a good prepper, we must plan, prepare to prevail. In my next video, I will cover the 5 no BS SHTF threats that all should plan and prepare for. And I want you to hit that subscribe button and the bell button to get notified when I publish new videos. And until next time, be prepared and stay safe.